I'll take the next one. Goes along right along with the guild funds. Expect to wipe. We're all human and we all make mistakes. Wipe are a part of an ops experience. Just remain calm and positive, and let's not point fingers. And then limit any feedback to that of the constructive nature. Simply.
Castrius' fault. He keeps dying.
Yes, if it's Castrius' fault, I will say, hey, I did it, I fucked up, boom.
It's always your fault.
Everyone yells at me.
Hey, you're supposed to save the F-bombs for the ops channel.
That's right.
So, but the point of the fact is we don't want you to sit there and point and say, well, if he was better geared or she was doing her job, if he was healing better, that's not what's going to matter. The point is that whenever you're doing something that involves 16 different people working together, there's going to be problems.
Hey, Snowy.
Yeah.
Castoria says she needs to do one day to get access to the thing.
The Eyeless? Did she
Yeah,
blow up yet?
No, she's waiting. But the thing is, if you need her, she'll try to come. But if you don't need her, she says okay.
I think we're probably gonna need her, but
More than likely we will. But we will see what we have when we form the raid group. Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and take the next one to speed
I'll
things
do it.
up.
Do not take pets out and pets or toys out during an ops, except during your breaks. We don't mean to be disrespectful. We don't want other guildies to have who don't have computers to have major lag, and thus pets and additional things that you can do that the toys and such provide can cause serious lag problems for them. So this is just an issue so that we can make the experience more fun for all, including those of us who can't afford to go out and spend $3,000 on a new computer. So please make sure to pick up your pets after the break is over, and just, as we keep it respectful, put the no pets during the raid, just wait for the break. Same thing with anything like the mail bots and whatnot. We don't want those out either.
Well, on that note, make sure, like snowballs and like that, during raids, let's just not put those on. You want to do them before, you want to do them after, that's fine, but don't snowball or put something on other people that can cause lag.
And right now with the Ragul event, let's, make sure you have your vaccine before you step into the raid. We don't need people throwing up every 3 seconds.
Exactly. Touching on the mail droid thing, Star kind of mentioned it a second ago. Mail droids are now allowed in raid as long as they're not disruptive. But we don't want anybody asking for a mail droid. So, when we put that rule into place, we had a big problem. We were given explanations at the time, and people were like, hey, you got a mail droid? Oh, I'll give you the money for a mail droid. Here's a mail droid. Interrupting, everything, distracting. No. As a general rule, I don't really see a reason why you have to have your mail in the middle of a raid. But if you feel the need to, as long as we're not in the middle of a fight or, something major, you can take it out. But if it becomes disruptive, that rule will be changed.
We literally had people just interrupting the raid and instructions trying to get mail droids. That's why it was banned. So as long as people cannot do that,
trash.
right? I mean, as long as we're on break and you're not having to disrupt someone, telling what to do in the raid, then we'll allow them.
Yeah, mail droids, we understand if you need to check your mail real quick on break. During the raid and everything else, you should be focused on helping us push through this stuff and content and whatnot, rather than, oh, wait a minute, did my $1 million credits come in from the mount that was just sold on the GTN? I mean, we understand you got things in the mail, but please, during the raid, we're trying to focus on helping everyone, and it's a little distracting for everybody.
So just be respectful about if you do take it out.
I'd like to point out that There are some people who do not enjoy being smacked in the head with a snowball. So please keep that to a minimum.
Well,
Yeah, no snowballs during the raids at all. I mean,
That's
it's because of lag.
No balls and
And the
pencils.
little annoying
Now you
Things.
realize, Joe, you just put a big ass target on your back. You know that, right?
This is true.
You can't blame the Mexican for not wanting to be hit with something wet and cold.
I swear to God, if one person throws a snowball at me, I will wipe the raid.
Ion.
Oh yeah, like that'll be new.
Okay.
Oh goodness.
Okay, moving
The
on.
next topic is a very touchy subject for some people. Parsers, whether, they're good or bad, the guild does not sponsor them in any way, shape, or form. You can use them for your own personal usage, however, we do not want any part of it in TeamSpeak, Ops, or Guild Chat.
What the heck do you mean by parcel?
It's like
damage
recount.
meter.
Damage
Like recount, dude.
The what?
A
Damage meters.
It's like recount.
Parsers are the same thing as a damage meter from
From
Wow.
From
Wow.
WoW.
Oh, I just use it for my own personal benefit.
We have no
That's
problem with that.
fine.
Other than that, I don't care. I'm just saying
There
I just
was-
use it for my own personal. Yeah, I know. I heard about that whole thing. I'm just saying I just use it for my own personal benefit. So
And that is perfectly okay. But we don't want people linking them together and, it becoming an issue like, oh, you do more, a bragging point or anything like that. So we, as a guild, don't want anything to do with parsers.
me brag? You want me to start bragging?
Okay, we're gonna move on here. Cutting into raid time now. Do not move tanks past the tanks during the ops to avoid accidental pulls.
The last
That
two are
one's
probably the
pretty
most,
Yes.
yeah.
So next part is very simple. During the fight explanations, please pay attention. You may have heard it 1,000 times, but it doesn't matter. You may have missed something important. You may have forgotten something, so please listen. It could be a refresher. Be respectful of the guildmates who have not had a chance to learn these contents or the fight, because these are why we put up these explanations and such. Please do not use your emotes while these are going on. It can be very distracting. People can see you doing them, then they want to do them, and before you know it, half the raid, 3/4 of the raid, everybody's running around doing some kind of emote. It's a distraction to the ops specialists as well as to everyone else. And so please, just be respectful of that fact. Okay?
The reason I do my emote, my groove, because I get bored just sitting there.
We fully understand that, but at the same time, we've seen it where one person starts it, and then another person, and then another person. Before you know it, we have like 3/4 of the raid just dancing around, or somebody's pulling out the probe that causes everybody to dance and whatnot. It's just very distracting, and it's impolite overall. I mean, especially when people start putting up things like this person's impatient, this person's ready to go, this person, so yada yada yada. You get the point. So.
And it gives the impression of those who have questions that, hey, everyone's ready to go. I'll just follow the group, and sometimes following the group isn't the best course of action.
Very true, because our 16-man raids are about getting people in there. We're going to have people with us that haven't experienced the content a lot of times. So, for them, even though you've run it 20 times, it's their first time or their first couple of times. So they need to be able to listen and concentrate on what's being said without being distracted. Because let's face it, there are times where if they have no clue what they're doing, it's going to cause a wipe. So it's to your benefit to, just sit back and stare off into space if you don't want to listen to it. Just relax while it's going on.
Just think about it.
No,
at
I'd
one
like to
point in
take
time,
this
you were there
opportunity
too.
to point out.
Yeah.
I'd like to take this opportunity to point out that a lot of our people are, under-geared for this raid, and I want to bring up that if they run daily 55 hard modes, they will get enough elite comms to start upgrading their gear.
That's a very good
And I'll
point.
be- We'll be more than happy to tank a 55 hard mode. I mean, I've been doing it all day since since I've been on.
Or me. He's not the only one. I'll do it. Or, I'll try to do the heals if I'm not doing anything else.
Okay, and then last but not least, well, Sin, you had a comment that you were trying to make? Well, what
It was
were-
about being patient or explaining the ops. I mean, everyone's been there. Don't be impatient because you may already know, but at one point in time you didn't. Be patient and courteous.
Well put. Okay, and last but not least, to avoid any confusion in the op, only the ops specialist and a designated officer assistant should be explaining the fight, setting up targets, etc., giving, healing duties, and especially for those who aren't as familiar with the content, it can be confusing if you have 10 people telling you 10 different ways to do something. So just, it's counterproductive, but you will be given the opportunity after explanations are complete to answer questions. So if you have questions at that time, ask. Don't wait until we're, bosses at 50% and you're like, I don't know what to do. So, there's no need for anyone to feel shy or anything. We're all friends. So if you have a question, just feel free to ask. Just not during the boss fight, because what that does is it takes everyone's attention, because then you're going to have 15 people or 16 people, 15 people trying to tell you where to go, what to do.
And on that note, don't interrupt the ops specialist or the assistant when they're giving the explanation. There's no reason why you need to, break into what they're saying and, add something. If he forgot something or whatever, then when we open it up, then at that point is when you would need to say it. But there's no reason to interrupt them.
Are there any questions, any problems with the new policy or whatnot? Does anybody have anything that they want to add, say, do, what?
I'd like to add something to that last little section.
All right.
For
Feel free.
everybody, there's no such thing as a stupid question, so ask it anyways.
Yes, please do.
More than likely, if you're wondering it, somebody else is wondering it and they don't want to ask.
The only stupid question
If I'm
is the one
wondering
that
it,
goes
I'm going to
unasked.
ask because I'm blunt and retarded.
Oh,
Wait,
Say
you're not
right now,
retarded.
I will ask because I am blunt and retarded. I am, and I will admit it because, hey, it's just the way I am, man. It's all cool. Hey,
Hey,
and you can
retarded
make
is
fun
not
of
asking.
any question that I make. Hey, I make it.
Adunea disconnected from your
no,
channel
I'm
and
retarded
said
about how
bye-bye.
I ask, because it 9 times out of 10 comes out sounding backwards. So if you want to laugh at it, by all means, because I'm going to laugh at it after I say it.
Geez, Sin, you got a direct line to the satellite tonight?
He
Yeah.
Change some settings.
Didn't he?
No, actually, I did change some settings. Somebody mentioned it. I don't remember who it was at this point in time, but what it was, my push-to-talk was still set on voice action, even though it was push-to-talk. Now, my mic is completely queued right now because I have the push-to-talk pushed. It doesn't activate due to my voice.
All right.
So I don't
all
sound
thank
like,
you.
that half-addled retard running through Walmart.
Yes, because it was
that I usually
like,
do.
This was how it's outended, and it just
That's
it
about right,
cracked
dude.
everybody up.
it made my brain hurt.
It's hard to understand you. But in all seriousness, guys,
I'm sorry, guys. I'm glad we got it fixed. Woohoo!
We'd rather you ask the question no matter how asinine you think it is, because no matter what it is, you need to know the answer before we start the fight, rather than realize halfway through the fight, oh, that's what I was going to
Correct.
ask. It was actually important. So please let us know anything, whatever it is.
So anybody else have any questions? Anything else they want to add? Anything at all?
Instead of getting, I do have one. Instead of getting 55 hard modes with elite comms, why don't you just do the story modes that give you ultimate for the better gear?
No, he's saying flashpoints.
Flashpoints give you, you do hard mode flashpoints, you get elites.
Yes.
And then story mode ops give you the
Comms.
ultimate, yeah.
Hey, I just learned that. I will run those a lot.
Actually, if you do 3 of them in 1 week, you get 12 ultimates, so you can get ultimate and elite at the same time.
And we do plug them pretty much every
I'm
single
gonna take
week.
whoever mentioned that up on their offer because I will definitely be doing some of that.
For those that don't know, we do have a progression team. So if you're interested in that and you have 72 plus mods, 69 plus relics, and all of your gear is augmented, and you can raid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, approximately 7 to 11:30. Talk to Ion, and we can get you a spot in the rotation. If you're interested, it's something that you have to come to him. We're not seeking people out for that.
Anything else, anyone?
Ultimately, we are looking for 2 progression 8-mans. So don't be afraid to step up.
Or if you don't
I
have
would
the
love
gear,
to go, but my schedule's so whack.
if you don't have the gear, I'd be happy to help gear you out.
Help yourself
I will be
gear
getting with you later.
Yeah, where's my relic?
The guy hasn't I sent him a mail, right? But his mailbox is full.
I'll be right back. I gotta get some tea.
But with that, I think that we are pretty much all set.
All right. Well.
Do we have any other final questions, comments, concerns?
Cassie has 6 minutes left on hers.
Till she blows up?
Yes.
Alright, get me in the group, because I'm headed that way.
Last thing, Snow.
See you.
I can't look at it to see, but do you still have the box at the bottom of that to where they put their name in and say yes?
Yes, everybody has to accept it.
You need to address that before everybody leaves.
Except what?
At the bottom of the ops thing is a deal where you put in your name. We'll be using that from now on in lieu of reading it to everyone. We'll just ask you to read it and sign your name at the end of it.
Right now?
Snow, are we gonna do this right now or after the ops?
That will be done at the beginning of the ops. So instead of going over the ops policies every time, that is going to be in lieu of that.
Okay.
And if you understand what the ops policies are, and at the bottom you put your name and put yes and hit accept or whatever it is at the moment, that is binding you to, yes, I understand these rules. So if you violate them, you can say, you accepted it, you signed it.
That's right. Don't worry about it right now. If you were in the raid tonight, we'll post it in the raid channel. I'm gonna be resetting any responses that have already been put on here. So,
Thanks. You're wasting my time.
well, it wasn't a waste of time because you got to look at the form, and we wanted everybody to look at the form and read along with us as we went.
I spent 3 seconds signing my name and filling that thing out. Now you.
Well, then that just all that does is show us we didn't waste your time. That means you wasn't paying attention.
Just bitch slap.
Here's a
slap him and
burrito.
it'll straight him out.
Where's this format?
Well, we'll post it again in the ops channel for whoever's in the ops tonight.
And later, when the video of the meeting gets posted, links to that will also be provided.
All right, so tonight
Will
we are
be
doing
set
Isla's.
on the schedule.
Hey, Snowy,
Eyeless?
run map 1, but if she moves away and we all get around her, at least 3 or 4 of us, she should be able to get it.
A fleet?
Fleet 1. We're on Fleet 1. Instance 1 on Fleet.
Okay, so the meeting is over?
Yes.
All right, I am going to stop recording so I can get out of full screen.
We're doing Eyeless tonight and DF.